camera recording started.
What does that smell like to you?
It smells like cat shit and something gross. It's a lot stronger up here.
These officers don't know it yet, but they're standing a few feet away from 69-year-old William Muzak, buried under several inches of concrete in his own basement.
Sunrise Police Department, search warrant! It definitely smells like rotting meat or something.
Hi, where's your dad at?
I'm not sure. He only comes by every couple of weeks.
And this is Dana Jennings, William's live-in daughter. 1 month earlier, William sent a desperate text to his son, believing that Dana had poisoned him with horse tranquilizers. In the weeks that followed, forged checks were cashed in his name, his bank accounts drained, and clues of his murder covered up. Dana would have gotten away with it all if only Will was never found.
We're gonna dig out the concrete, and we're gonna find your dad underneath there.
Really?
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
Dana, we found the body in your house. At this time, you're under arrest for concealing a dead body.
69-year-old William Bill Muzak, a Vietnam War veteran, was known as a beloved grandfather to family and neighbors, which is why those close to him grew concerned in December 2017. William, who was known to keep regular contact, went radio silent. He promised his girlfriend he would attend a Christmas party with her, but then never showed up. So everyone turned to the only person closest to him, 44-year-old Dana Jennings. Dana lived together with William, and if anyone knew where he was, it would be her. After weeks of silence, on January 9th, officers made their way to the house on Elliott Circle in Federal Heights, Colorado, after Will's family asked for a wellness check to be made, where cops made contact with Dana.
It's the police department.
Hi, can I help you?
Hi, yeah, we're trying to reach William Muzak.
He's my dad. He doesn't really live here. He just has some stuff here and comes by every now and then.
You know, last time you talked to him?
I just had foot surgery, so I'm on meds. I'm sorry.
I don't want to keep you.
I'm a little loopy.
I guess it'd be your uncle was calling about him.
My uncle?
Yeah, I said he had talked to him in a couple weeks.
He lost his phone. I know that, and I found it and put it by some mail that I have for him here, but he hasn't come by for, it's probably been about 10 days, I would think. So he'll probably be coming by soon to pick up his mail and stuff like that. But okay. He's been coming by every, no, I guess I have a box. He's been coming by every week or two and picking up some mail and stuff like that.
It makes sense he doesn't have his phone because his brother's been trying to get a hold of him.
Yeah, but he leaves me notes and stuff like that. So
your uncle Robert, I guess.
It's his brother. He's done some work with him.
Initially, Dana appears to know nothing about her dad's disappearance. Even though officers find nothing unusual in this first interaction with her, William's family wasn't convinced. Because at this point in time, they believed that any clues to this mysterious disappearance would be found inside the home, and that Dana was potentially lying. So the next day, officers went back, now intent on getting a lead.
Police department. Hi. Where's your dad at?
I'm not sure. He only comes by every couple of weeks and picks up mail and stuff. He's been spending a lot of time up in the mountains with a girlfriend or a friend like that. I'm not even sure where that is. I just had broke my foot and everything, so I'm sorry. I'm kind of loopy on my pain meds right now. But he, like I said, he comes here every couple of weeks or something and picks up mail and picks up my rent and stuff like that. I don't always
Does he live
see
here?
him. He has all of his, technically he lives here, but since he quit working, he is hardly here.
This time, Dana tells a much more detailed story. Allegedly, William had gone camping with his girlfriend, who she very conveniently doesn't know anything about. According to her, William would visit her every 10 days, and therefore she was not as worried about him as her brother and uncle were. Taking Dana's consent, officers now begin making their move inside the home, immediately noticing something strange as they enter the basement.
More announcements in the basement. Sunrise Police Department, search warrant.
There's a lot of ash in there. I didn't dig around. Yeah, there's like some, almost like flesh in there.
Oh, there's a hand sitting in the trash.
It definitely smells like rotting meat or something.
Emanating from the entire home is a sick, foul odor described by officers as sewage and something rotten. A stench so foul that a few officers at the scene are forced to wear oxygen tanks and respirators as they make their way deeper into the home, left wondering one question.
I mean, you know, what does that smell like to you?
It smells like cat shit and something gross. Like nasty fridge? It's out. Yeah, we're not gonna get anything back there. Gonna go upstairs.
The basement of the home is where officers believe the source of the smell is. They head in cautiously, using handheld gas detectors to monitor the air as they move. These devices measure airborne contaminants like hydrogen sulfide, a gas produced by both sewage and decomposing human remains, which helps officers identify any harmful fumes and also to get to the bottom of what gases are producing the stench.
And so this was over more piled and floating when I was in here.
Doesn't even look like that much being used.
This looks like a massage table.
What she says.
A massage table?
They don't know it yet, but they just missed William by inches, because in the closet you just saw, behind a freshly poured concrete slab, is William's body, covered in household trash and old family photos, just a few feet next to officers standing in that basement. But at this point in time, with the source of the smell unidentified, detectives bring Dana in for questioning to get more answers. They read her rights and get down to business.
The reason we're here is there's certain members of your family that are really upset that they haven't heard from your dad, which has got my lieutenant on my about this.
Okay.
And so we're trying to figure out where Bill's at. And we've got some information, and obviously you have some information, and we need your help to kind of get to the bottom of this.
Okay.
So why don't you tell us what you know, and we'll tell you what we know, and we'll try to figure out where he's at and get to the bottom of this.
What I know about what? Like where my dad is?
Yeah, I mean, let's start with the last time you saw him.
For a little while, I'm trying to decide where in life to start the story, but he got really mad and quit his job a while back, and long line of workaholics, so he was home and miserable, and so he started taking on a bunch of projects to simulate work, and all those family members and friends became quite used to the free labor and him providing things. He got himself into a situation where he doesn't make any money except for what he has coming in, and wanted to pursue other projects, but family members and friends keep expecting things from him. I know my brother asks to borrow money monthly, and my dad's dependent on me to make the mortgage payment, and he just kind of got where he didn't know how to say no to anybody, and he started hanging out with a couple of women that were a lot younger than him and enjoying himself again, and started taking care of himself a little bit better. And I know that he got a prescription for Viagra and a few other things like that tell me he's having fun with some of his girlfriends. He didn't share that part with me, but one must assume. And so he started, I'm sorry, let me shut that off. He started being gone for longer periods of time and just kind of leaving me notes saying,
I'll be gone for a few weeks, not sure when I'll be back, and taking off. And I know both locations don't really get good cell phone service. And so I think he's been enjoying himself instead of feeling obligated to things. And he hasn't cared about the house as much. He's been telling me to just take care of stuff. And so I think he's out having fun, and I'm trying not to put a lot of pressure on him. He gets I do. So, I mean, there's been some communication, and like, I leave money out for the rent. He's asked for that to be in cash so he can go and take care of those things. And I think the house payment comes directly out of his bank account where his retirement checks go. So he wants me to then leave him cash for the equivalent of the house payment so he can have that money to spend for things. And I've seen evidence that he's been by the house, so I'm not worried because I go to bed and next day, the stuff outside's been moved and the projects have been changed and the money that I left's gone or whatever. So and that's kind of how it's been for like the last year. I mean, it's getting more and more like he's been more distant from things here. So, and it just kind of seems normal behavior to me. It doesn't seem terribly different.
Dana would like everyone to believe that her father, a man who worked 2 and 3 jobs his entire life, who never missed a family event, who texted his son back within hours, had suddenly, at 69 years old, decided to drop off the face of the earth. The problem is, she's the only person who found this normal. William's brother panicked after less than a week of silence. His colleagues told investigators Will was the kind of guy who replied the moment his phone buzzed, and his girlfriend Martha was expecting him at a Christmas party he'd promised to attend. And Will, the actual owner of the home, somehow just didn't live there anymore, according to the tenant, who was now suddenly in charge of all his bank accounts.
So you said a couple of weeks ago you spoke to Dad?
Yeah, I think it's been 3
or 4 weeks ago.
If I go through all my text messages and my calendar and stuff, I can probably narrow that down a little bit more for you, but to see, like, oh yeah, I remember doing that day too, or something like that. But right now, that's my guess.
Okay. Does your dad have a cell phone with him?
No.
No. Do you know where it's at?
It was at the house. I've been trying to keep it charged, so if he comes back, he can take it. But I don't remember right now. We've been moving everything around so much with the basement. Like, some of the stuff that's normally in the basement is upstairs in my room and stuff like that. So I'm not sure right off where that is. But I know I've charged it a few times for him, and he did text me from the cell phone at the house when he was there asking where I left the rent money. And that was a few weeks ago too. But I don't know where it is right off. I've had a few people helping me, so stuff is in my room, but I don't remember seeing it recently. Is that normal for him not to have a cell phone with him? I mean, we're all kind of attached to ours, He's been losing it more lately. And just telling me like I don't have it with me, so if you need me, I'll be back tomorrow or whatever. And he hasn't seemed quite as attached to it as I just assumed it was that he was enjoying the person he's been staying with. But to leave it this long is a little peculiar, but I don't know if he got another cell phone or what. So this one was my old cell phone and it's on my account, so I don't know if he got another one or what, but.
So can you tell me about your relationship with your dad? Like growing up, that kind of thing.
He worked 2 or 3 jobs usually, so he wasn't around a lot. He's a grumpy old German man and yells a lot. And, it's harder sometimes to, if I'm in a bad mood, I don't want to be yelled at, but I actually see him less living with him than I did when I lived in Brighton. He was out there at my house all the time. So I see him less now than I did before. And sometimes he's in a bad mood and sometimes he's in a great mood and we get along great and we kind of act like roommates. I mean, I can tell him, you know, I can talk to him like I would any of my friends. He doesn't expect that, I don't know, level of differentiating. So I can tell him if something's bothering me and we can have a conversation about it.
And where do you think he's at?
I think he's in Arizona. I think when he originally left, he was up at, I think Fort Garland. It's a Fort something, but I don't remember.
Okay.
He talks about places and I don't know the geography here and I don't know cities here, so I don't pay attention a lot because it doesn't mean a lot to me. I know he was taking some pallets and some insulation out to the Fort Garland place, and then when he came by, when he texted me for the rent and stuff, I just got the impression he was going to Arizona because it's so cold up in the mountains right now. So I'm guessing out there. He also has a friend in California that he's been visiting, a high school buddy, I think he said, that came out of nowhere. It was weird, like, why are you all of a sudden hanging out with somebody from high school? But he's been out there a few times and he doesn't call me at all when he's out there. So
who's the person? You said Fort Garland. Do you know that person's name? Or?
just Martha. I don't know her last name or anything.
Is that the same person in Arizona?
No,
Do you know the person in Arizona?
he just said an old friend. So
Is this like normal behavior for him to do this? Or?
a little bit more than what he normally does, but it hasn't hit abnormal enough for me yet. And plus I've been distracted with my foot and stuff.
Sure,
So,
no, I
but it's a little bit more than normal, but it's been growing to this, I guess. Like he's been getting more and more distant and gone longer and longer and that kind of stuff, and complaining more and more about just wanting to do his own thing and not to be dependent on by everybody for money and for labor and stuff, that he just kind of wants to enjoy himself.
Dana has 3 potential places in mind where she believes Will may have gone. 1, Arizona. 2, visiting Martha in Fort Garland. And 3, seeing a high school friend in California. So let's dismantle each one, shall we? For Arizona, Will didn't even know a single soul there, had no known connections and no reason to go. As for Martha, she last saw Will on December 2nd when he dropped her off at Craig Hospital. He texted her on December 7th promising to attend her Christmas party and ultimately never showed up. She hadn't been able to reach him since, and she described that as deeply unusual. Then finally, California. The California friend hadn't lived there for months as he moved away to Nebraska, which meant Will had absolutely zero reason to visit.
So why is everybody so weird or so concerned when it's typical behavior?
Well, I think what they're seeing is that they don't see it as typical behavior for it.
Okay.
And that's what they're seeing from their side. And that's why we're trying to talk to you and get, kind of what you see, because you talk to them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to understand, and that's why I'm asking you these questions. Is I'm trying to understand and trying to see it through, because you see it more than they do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm asking you to explain his behavior to me.
Okay. But obviously I think something's wrong if there's 20 policemen at my house right now.
We're trying to find any, if he's left paperwork, maybe he's left this lady's number from Arizona in some of his paperwork and that, And, if we can find it, we can find him in Arizona, then that's great. That's what we want. We just want to, we want to find him.
Does he have to be found if he doesn't want to be? I mean, does he have to call Bob? I don't understand. If he doesn't want to call his family, does he have to, or am I going to continually be talked to by the police until he does, or?
Well, we need to, we need to resolve this. We can't, technically, he'll always be listed as a missing person until, we do get a resolution to this, So, the sooner we can get the resolution, the sooner, your life goes back to normal and, all that. We've done some checking.
Okay.
And we know he didn't go to Arizona.
Okay.
Okay. And we
How do
really,
you know that?
well, because we've talked to everyone, he doesn't know anyone in Arizona. Okay. So we really need to know where he went. And we really think you know where he went.
All I know is Martha in Arizona and high school friend in California.
Okay. Well, we've talked to everybody, and he doesn't know anybody in California. His friend in California doesn't live there anymore.
He just went there like 3 or 4 months ago. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, that individual moved back to Nebraska, and we've talked
Within
to
the
that.
last couple of months?
Yeah, then
Oh.
we've talked to that individual.
Okay. Those are the only 3 places I can guess he would go. Those are the only 3 things he's really mentioned over the last few trips.
Is there anywhere else he might be?
I'm trying to remember our last the last few trips he went on. I thought he said Arizona. He said that he had made a friend that lived in Arizona and they had some property and that he was helping him with some stuff there.
Everyone we've talked to says he doesn't know anybody in Arizona.
And Martha, I mean,
We've
She's up
talked to Martha.
yeah.
Martha hasn't seen him since the 2nd of December.
Okay. So that's right around when he came and got the rent. So he's only been, oh no, we're in January, sorry. I was like, it's only been 2 weeks since you saw him then. We're in January, okay. Yeah,
So-
those are the only 3 places that he's really, when he's gone on these longer trips, that he's said to me. But I haven't interrogated him over each trip. I mean, he comes and goes a lot, but
And there's been some inconsistencies with your statements to some of the family members and some of his friends about his cell phone and that.
well, he didn't really want them to know everything, so I didn't tell them the same stories because he kind of wanted them to leave him alone. So he told me if anyone asks, tell them I lost my cell phone. If,
But why would everybody be saying that's not like Bill? I mean, his friends he works with tells me that's not like Bill. Bill's the type of guy that if you text him, he texts me back within a couple days, or if not a couple hours. His brother says if I call him, he calls me back within a day or 2.
mm-hmm.
Even if it's just to say hi. His sister says the same thing in Nebraska. Says I can call him at 2 a.m. and leave him a message, and he'll call me back either right away or the next morning when he wakes up.
And those are all people that want him to come do free stuff for them. Those are the people he's kind of fed up with right now. Those are the people that borrow money. Those are the people that want him to come do free labor at his expense for materials. And I just think those are the people that he kind of wants to avoid right now.
Is he not the?
That's why I don't push him too hard on the house, because I would very quickly become somebody he's avoiding if I start pushing him too much to fix something at the house.
Well, from everything I've learned, it doesn't sound like he's a type of person that minces words. Would you agree?
True. But he also avoids a confrontation at all costs.
Everyone in Will's life suspected something was wrong. Everyone except the daughter living in his house. Even her ex-husband, Joel, told investigators he believed Dana had done something to her father. A suspicion that ultimately turned out to be correct, because just weeks before Will vanished, Dana's massage therapy business had collapsed. She was behind on rent in her own father's home and financially dependent on him. And then, right around December 18th, she texted a friend, "Life is so different now. I feel so much better." While everyone else was panicking about Will's disappearance, Dana's life was suddenly peaceful, relaxing, and easier. One has to wonder what could have possibly changed for her. And did we also mention that Dana had unsupervised access to her father's accounts? Oh, right. That's why her life changed. And if you like watching killers who think they're the smartest person in the room find out they're not, subscribe.
You said earlier that he was pretty excited about making this Adobe pizza oven at Martha's. He hasn't had any contact with Martha. They had plans to do stuff, the week after she spoke to him. And he hasn't had any contact. That seems kind of strange if he's
That's
excited
why
about.
I assumed Arizona, but I don't know. If you say he has absolutely no contact, I don't know how you'd come to that, but that was just my assumption, so I don't have any opinion past that because I haven't had more than 2 minutes to process that information. But
Well, you also gave inconsistent statements to my officers too.
did I?
Yeah.
I know I was pretty jerked up a few times they were there, but I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
what I may
You
have
told the officers that he didn't live there.
He doesn't live there anymore. He's comes by and gets his mail.
And then you said that one
We
time
had talked about him moving out
Right.
completely, so that's why I said no, not really. He doesn't live here. He gets his mail here. We had just talked about that the month before, around Thanksgiving. So
Okay.
he doesn't live there anymore. That's what I told them.
And then there was a comment about his cell phone being there, and then the next time they were there that he had came and picked up the rent and his cell phone.
He came one time and the cell phone was gone. He texted me a few times on it, and then the cell phone was back at the house. It came and left, so it's not. I didn't think much of it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't. Okay.
He
Because
came and he texted me, "Where's the rent money?" It was a couple days before the first, when normally he doesn't ask me till a couple days after the first. And the cell phone wasn't there when I had looked, and then the cell phone was back when I assume he came and got a load of stuff.
Okay, see, the reason that doesn't make sense is that we pinged his cell phone.
Okay.
And that's basically where we can ask for an emergency ping on. It tells us where that phone has been. And that phone never left that location. It's always been there.
So it wasn't on the table then.
So it never left the house.
And it
So,
wasn't on the kitchen table where I left the rent money when I looked. But I don't know where in the house it was. The house is in utter chaos right now. I don't know where everything is. I don't even know where. I haven't seen his phone for a little bit. And like I said, I've been on a lot of pain meds, so I might not have a consistent story. I'm sorry. And I told them that when they came to my house, that I was on pain meds and that I wasn't necessarily really reliable in my answers.
Okay, good. So no phone from the December 9th.
I think he had it for a couple of days. He texted me on it about the rent. So I think when he came,
He picks up the phone and leaves and texts you, and then
it was
brings the
telling me
phone
to make
back.
sure to leave the rent. I don't know if he took it or not, if it was there at the house or.
What happens when, let's say that he leaves and he leaves you with the house, the bills, and everything? Could you manage?
Yeah, with my husband's income in mind.
You could pay all the bills?
Yeah.
Okay.
It wouldn't be the most fun situation. My husband's still paying his ex-wife alimony, but
Would the bill lend you money?
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would
On
he
the
lend you
credit
money?
card.
On a credit card?
Mm-hmm.
What about checks?
He didn't really write me checks.
Okay.
He wrote my brother checks because he
Didn't
had
write you a
known in
check?
California.
Don't write you checks.
He's written me a couple. He wanted me to pay for the stuff to fix the house, so he wrote me a check recently.
When?
A couple weeks ago for
We standing right there when he gave it
$500.
to you?
No,
Okay. How did he give it to you?
it was on the kitchen table.
And I'm kind of worried now. You know why?
Why?
Because that signature on that check doesn't match his signature. We've already checked that.
Okay.
So now someone's coming and leaving that Bill didn't write that check. If what you're saying is true, well, I know he didn't write that check. I don't, whether it's on the kitchen table or not, he didn't write that check.
Okay.
And so now someone's coming in your house. You leave the house open?
No.
Someone's
I
gotta have a
changed
key.
the locks recently. So
You changed the lock, so how does Bill get in?
he has a key.
Okay, so he's the only one that has a key?
and my kid. And
Okay, well, your kid's not gonna write a check. So now Bills didn't write that check because we already checked the handwriting.
I wrote the money part in. He just left it signed.
I'm talking about the signature, not the money part. But you did. Tell me, did you sign that check yourself?
Not that one. I've signed other checks because he's told me to.
Not the $500 check.
No,
Are you sure about that?
I remember there being a check on the table. With
Because
the
I can
signature.
take the ink from the
Yeah.
type to what you wrote and match it to the ink of the
Yeah,
signature.
I mean it was on the kitchen table, and
Okay, Dana, are you listening to me?
Yeah.
I can take the ink from the
Yeah.
top and the ink from the signature, and if they match, you just told me that
But there
you're the
was-
one who wrote the check.
there's pens.
Okay, there's
And
pens.
he puts a pen in his checkbook between the checks there, and I probably just grabbed that same pen.
And he wrote you a check for $500.
I wrote in the $500.
You wrote the $500.
Yeah.
The check that Dana mentions had a number of red flags. Literally. The signature on it didn't match Will's and was flagged by the bank as fraudulent because it didn't match his handwriting at all. But that was only just the beginning. In the weeks following the disappearance, Dana had methodically drained her father's accounts. Multiple unauthorized cash withdrawals and Amazon purchases charged to his card, which was eventually maxed out. The timing of a failed business, a missing father, and a spending spree on his accounts doesn't seem like a coincidence, now does it?
Let's talk about the basement. What's up with the basement? What's wrong with the basement?
The
And I want the
toilet-
short story, okay?
The toilet overflowed. I didn't know that the toilet backs up down there. And since he was gone, I was a week before I noticed it. So there was a significant amount of sewage water down there. So
So you did the job cleaning up because when I went in the house, I didn't smell any sewage.
yeah, I've been removing the carpet and trying to get rid of the magazines that have. There's still carpet down there with sewage on it. And I called
Yeah, I
plumber
smell
out.
sewage at all.
I called a plumber out, so he got it unclogged, and I assume cleaned the carpet that had it, but I've been trying to get it pulled out because from what I've read, the grossness lives in the padding and stuff, but it's been slow for me.
Okay, so, and that's where,
I
where's
have
this
a fan
recliner?
running down there in the bathroom, so that's probably why it doesn't know.
This is a weird question, but there's a reason for it. Pets, how many pets you got in that house?
Two.
Two.
I didn't have to let me kid.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question. Why does your house smell like a dead person?
It does?
It does.
I don't know, I just assumed the smells were
Mhm.
the sewage.
I've been doing this I've been a homicide detective for years. I know what a dead body smells
I have no idea.
like. I'm telling you.
Okay,
Can you take my word for it?
yeah,
Okay. Your house smells like there's a dead
I
person.
haven't seen any.
Okay.
Evidence
Well,
of
would
a
you
dead.
know-
No, I
would you know
haven't
if
seen
there
any
was one?
evidence of. I've been through the whole basement and the whole upstairs and stuff, and I haven't.
I want to ask you, is Bill dead in that house and you
Not
covered
that
it
I'm
up?
aware of.
Not that you're aware of, but Dana, what do you mean not that you're aware of it? Did he crawl underneath the house somewhere?
I have no knowledge of him dying in that house.
But something died in that house because I can smell it. And I should also tell you this. We found where your dumpsters went.
Yeah.
And when we leave your house, we're going right to the dump.
Okay.
And if we find him there, he's either at your house or the dump.
The detective didn't need a confession to know what had died in that basement. Officers at the scene were wearing hazmat gear, as you saw, and confusing the foul smell of death with feces is one that they could hardly miss considering their experience. The basement was also, conveniently, the site of a sudden home renovation project. Dana had ordered a roll-off dumpster and ripped up the carpet and flooring. Why, you may ask? To fill it chock full of concrete, and of course paid for that too with Will's card. Looking at the construction materials, the fresh concrete slab, and the overwhelming stench, detectives have a pretty good idea it was coming from Will, and luminol would prove them right.
I don't think Bill's alive. I don't
Okay.
think. He's either at your house or the dump. Okay?
Okay.
I would be shocked if that wasn't the
The
case.
dump is all the stuff from the back porch and
Right,
that
right.
stuff, and
So-
some furniture that got destroyed with the flooding.
You think he's there? He dies. You got a dead body.
I'm not gonna put it in a dumpster.
not?
I just watch too many crime shows. I would think that would get.
Okay.
So-
No, I don't know.
So I'm
No,
gonna,
the dumpsters are all just stuff from the basement flooding and from the backyard, and me trying to clean up so that we could empty our storage unit.
so let me tell you this.
And I'm gonna get another one probably tomorrow. So if you want to come go through that.
No, we're going through your house. I mean, so, and if he was there and was dead for a while, because something smells in that house. He
Okay.
was dead there for a while, and then he got removed somehow.
The
I'm not
smell would
saying
stay there. Or?
the smell would stay there
Mhm.
because there's still biological tissue there, and we're gonna find that
Okay.
biological tissue. I guess what I'm telling you is, if we don't find him soon, it might be extremely difficult to prove that he died of natural causes.
Okay.
And then we find him in the dump, and we can't tell that he died of natural causes. It looks like you committed a homicide
Why would I mean.
because it went in your dumpster. We know exactly where your dumpsters were dumped.
Okay.
We dig down in there, and Bill's rolled up in a rug, or we find a skeleton
Yeah.
that's got your carpet fibers because
Yeah.
we're taking your carpet fibers today. It's not going to look good for you,
Yeah.
right? And I can tell you right now, you were not a criminal. You know why I can tell?
Why?
You're a horrible liar. All right.
Okay.
So I know that you haven't been totally truthful with Detective Payne here because
Okay.
I know by body language and by statement analysis that you don't want to give us the entire truth. And I'm trying to tell you that you probably need to trust me because I know more about this than you do. I know
Right.
more about the process. And
Right.
We both do.
Okay.
So you need to trust us when we tell you if we find the body of Bill later, which we will, and you stick to the story that you got right now. Well, I kind of lied of other people. He had his phone. He doesn't have his phone. I don't really remember.
I don't remember
Let me
at
finish. You gotta,
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Open up your ears,
I'm
okay? So I don't have this. I got this and all that. Then we go to the district attorney's office where I talked to him. I'm like, well, Dana said she wasn't aware if Bill was in the house dead. Well, geez, he's been gone for, it says December 8th or 9th. You would know if Bill was in that house. It's telling to me that you said, I'm not aware if he's in the house. Because that's an equivocal statement usually made by people trying to conceal something. And that's science right there. Okay? So what are you trying to conceal, Dana?
I'm not trying to conceal anything.
sounds
I
like
just feel like I can get trapped in if I say he's not and you say he is and
Say what? I didn't say he was there.
I know.
So, I'm telling you
I've been
that.
psychologically my whole life, so
I'm not trying to
between my religion and my dad and everything else, so I've learned not to get myself trapped in
Watch how
something.
this works, okay? Berg, take the pain. Is Bill dead in your house?
No, he's not.
That's the answer I was waiting for.
But Bill's never been to his house.
Dana, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you're much smarter than you're letting on. You know that I'm talking about. You know, and I know, something happened on the 9th. And I'm not saying it's homicide, but I'm saying it starts to look that way when you try to cover stuff up. And you're covering stuff up like you wouldn't believe. I'm not mad at you. I've been sitting here thinking that you've been covering something up since we started this conversation. I haven't been rude to you. I'm not mad at you because you're not a criminal. If you were a gangbanger or something like that, we'd be done in about 10 minutes. I'm like, you know what, buddy? You're going to take it because when we find that body, we're going to pile those charges on you and you're going downtown. But I'm not doing that to you. I'm trying to get you to understand that you weren't in a predicament right now, that when we do find the body and we come back and we know that you're lying about these things, it looks like you killed your father. And that's not out of the realm of possibility. Did you kill your father?
No.
Okay. But you did hide his body because he is deceased, isn't he?
No.
He's not deceased. How do you know?
I don't know. I know I didn't hide his body. You asked me a 2-part question there.
Okay, good.
And I responded no.
Okay. But that's how you responded after I talked to him.
Yeah, I know.
Now
And
you know,
I'm trying
now
to
you know the
answer
secret.
I'm not trying to do the secret. I'm trying to answer you the way you've asked to be answered.
Okay. Why does it smell like decomposition in your house?
I thought the smell was the sewage.
So you understand, you thought the smell was the sewage.
And I've been trying to remove anything that smells.
So, you know that they've been texting me about what they've been finding at the house.
Okay, what have they done?
You know what luminol is? Yeah.
What's luminol?
Luminol is when something's cleaned up
like a crime where there's blood or there's biological tissue or whatever. I know that when a person dies, it only takes within 24 hours before they start. It's called purging, and liquids come out and everything like that. And so even if a person has died in the house and you remove them, there's still stuff that's left behind. It's called purging. Okay. I think that's why that recliner's not there anymore, because that's where he purged out. And so I've been getting texts, just seeing what's going on here. And luminol is, even though you clean it up, luminol reacts to minute biological cells of blood or tissue. And I went down to the basement, they luminol it, and they know something happened down there. No. Dana.
So there's actual like body stuff down there? Like from a person? I just know that there's been poop and cat pee because the cat's peed on it, and that's what I've been trying to
It really
figure out.
reacts to blood, biological tissue that purges out of the body. We can tell the difference between feces and cat feces.
I didn't know any of that.
So they luminol it up, shut the lights off.
Okay.
Luminol comes from the word illuminate, but it's chemical. They shut the lights off. You can tell something bad happened down there, or it looks bad. So I know Bill died in that basement.
How I would have.
I wasn't there, Dana.
Something.
You know. But
I would have known if he died in that basement.
I know you would have known, and you do know, and that's why you've been trying to cover everything up from everybody.
I don't
I'm not
know
saying that
anything
he's
about
innocent.
him dying.
You know what happened? Is he that got medication injected? That's another thing. So we find one hair follicle. Because I think what happened is your dad's becoming a pain in the ass. And he's going around and you can't take him anymore. Which I get it.
He's been gone. It's great.
Oh, no, listen. Okay. I've heard you talk, so let me talk now. You need to listen.
Okay.
So your dad's becoming a pain in the ass. You're like, gosh almighty, this guy is driving me up the wall. My husband, Chris, left me in November. He left the house. Thanksgiving was crap. My ex-husband's getting remarried on the 9th, and I lose my job. I got all that going in northern Colorado, where it's all pressure on me. And I just cannot take one. I've got enough stress. I got the world on my shoulders. I'm trying to take care of my daughter, which you're a good mom. Trying to take care of your daughter. And then this guy just won't stop yapping and being on about every little thing. And so you have access, you looked up something on your phone or the computer, you got some medication, say, here, Dad, here's some food. You need to go to sleep for a while, which I need a break. Because that's what happened on the 7th, when he slept for 15 hours after you gave him some food, and he freaked out about it.
On December 7th, Will sent a message to his son Brian that would become one of the most haunting pieces of evidence in this case. He told Brian that Dana had brought him a hamburger and a milkshake. He took a single bite and lost consciousness, waking up 15 hours later in his recliner. His text read, "I keep telling her she must have drugged me." To make matters worse, Dana's search history included queries for acipromazine, an animal tranquilizer marketed under the name Atravet, used to sedate horses and has no legitimate human medical use. It should never, under any circumstances, be found in a person's body. Investigators believe that initial incident was her trial run to feel the waters. Dana gave her father a sublethal dose to see how he'd react, so she could calculate the amount it would take to kill him. 48 hours later, on December 9th, she made the following searches. How long does it take for a body to decompose? How much blood is in the human body? Stacked alongside this were searches on procedures for filing a missing persons report.
And I think on the 9th, again, on the day that you broke your foot, on the day that your ex-husband got married, he's yapping at you and everything else, and you're like, I just want a break.
We had a good day.
Yeah. Well, you said you couldn't remember like 10 minutes ago what happened.
No,
on that day. And I believe you did have a good day.
The day
But
he
you gave
slept
him some
15
food.
hours. I gave him a massage with some lotion, and he slept because he hasn't been sleeping a lot.
Okay, well, something.
And I
You
had
slept
a
for
good-
15. Listen, remember, it's time to listen. Because I've heard what you've said, but I think it's more important that you hear what I say at
Okay.
one point. So On that night, on the day of the 9th, you tried the same thing or whatever, an accident happened, and he passes away because of what you've ingested into his body. And now you're like, this sounds like bad. And so you try to hide and cover things up, and I can look on your face right now and tell you that you know what I'm talking about is true. And I'm trying to help you out, Dana. I'm trying to help you. Gotta trust me on this. I know your mouth is dry. You've been shaking since you walked in here, and I'm trying to get you to understand that we're gonna find the body of Bill, because I know, but he's deceased. We're gonna find it, and I don't want to have to charge you with a homicide, because that's what it looks like right now. And I'm telling you the truth. So tell me, Dana, he died on accident. That's an easy question. He died on accident, didn't he?
No, not that I know
Come on, Dana, I'm trying to help you, man.
I know
I'm giving you
you
every
are.
kind of life preserver I can.
of. I know.
Grab onto the life preserver. Grab it. I'm
He
giving it to you.
was
It's not
being
gonna be there.
annoying, but we talked about him moving out.
No, you didn't. You didn't. That's another lie.
Why
You're-
is that
you're-
a
you're-
lie?
Because it's not the truth. That's what
Why?
the definition of a lie is. It's not the truth. Because I'm an expert at this. You're not even good at it. I'm an expert. That's a
Right.
lie. You didn't talk about it. The only reason you would lie about talking about it because you know what I'm saying is true. What did you give him on the 9th?
Nothing.
Nothing. So he
I
died on
gave him
accident.
McDonald's.
No, that was on the 7th, and he slept for 15 hours.
Yeah.
What did you give him on the 9th? You
Nothing.
gave him something.
You gave him something?
Dina, don't. I'm not an idiot.
I can't
I'm not
give
an
him
idiot.
something. I got McDonald's.
How did he die? Tell me that.
I don't know if he's dead, and I don't know how he died if he is dead.
Do you
I think he's alive. There's been signs that he's been to the house.
No, there hasn't. The only signs that he's been to the house are the signs that you've said.
So I went outside with a broken foot and moved pallets? I didn't do that. He came by and got the
I
pallets.
don't know. How do you know those?
They were there one day and then they weren't the next. He's the only person that would come get them.
No. You don't trust me. That's the problem. You don't trust me. You don't trust what I'm telling you is the truth. And I'm trying to get you to trust me.
I think you've told me a story that has some accurate parts and some
Tell me
inaccurate
the
parts,
accurate
but
parts.
I'm
Tell me the accurate
not
parts.
supposed to talk about it. I mean, you're telling me not to talk because you're
Okay.
telling me stuff. So I
Okay,
don't.
now tell me what the accurate parts are. And why did you didn't tell me in the first place? Why you gotta drag this stuff out of you?
That he's a pain in.
Okay.
That's why we talked about him. That he already was gone a lot, so might as well be gone more, and that I could take
wasn't
over
gone a
more
lot.
of the.
You're the only person that ever said he's gone a lot. You're the only one.
Okay.
That's why it looks bad for you. Bill used to do stuff on a daily and a weekly basis. Those things have ceased. The only thing that's come out of his checkbook or his credit or his account, his bank account, the only stuff that's come out of there since December 9th is stuff that benefits you. And it, more than the $500 check. I've checked. You know what you've taken out of that account. And he didn't give you permission to take that money.
I don't know what money's come out of the account other than the bills.
You've been
that
on
get paid.
Amazon, you've been spending
Yeah,
stuff
I've been
on.
on Amazon.
Okay, using Bill's money to buy stuff.
That's how I don't have a credit card, so I pay him back for those things. I just got money back from taxes for
Because
the
we
last
checked
2
his-
years, and I
Checked
paid
his
him back.
bank account, everything prior to that. There isn't
I've
stuff going to your
always-
house. Listen, there's not stuff going to your house or this is new since December 9th. Everything
I've
is
always
new since
used
December
his
9th.
cards for the Amazon
That's what
stuff.
the bank says. The bank says, I went to the bank, I said, what looks different? And they said, everything in December that is going to Dana Jennings. That's new stuff. That's stuff that doesn't come out of his checking account. So now, we find him in the dump. We find him in your house, in the crawl space. We'll find him.
And they did find him. Will's body was in the basement crawl space of his own home. Dana had dragged him there after he died, covered him with household trash and old family photographs, which prosecutors would later call evidence of the contempt she held for him, and poured a fresh slab of concrete over the top. At this exact moment in the interrogation, officers at the house were working to break through that slab. They hadn't gotten all the way down yet, but they eventually would.
Detective Ness, I know you've been a detective for 30 years. You've been a homicide detective forever. But you don't know how to smell a dead body.
If you say that that's the smell, then I believe you.
Okay, so we all agree that something died in your house.
If you say that.
I didn't ask you if I said that. We all know I'm saying it.
You're telling me that my basement smells like death.
It says your house does.
Okay.
So, would you agree that I know what I'm talking about when I can smell that something's decomposing or has decomposed in your house?
You act like you're very convincing.
Okay. I act like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, when I asked you, did Bill die in your house? And you're saying, not that I'm aware of. You know, everybody that's ever told me something like that has ended up being guilty.
Really?
I can't think of a single
I don't
time
know
where
how
I
to
asked
answer
that.
question.
I know you don't know how to answer that question because you're trying to get out of answering that question. I can't think of one time where I asked someone, is there a dead body in your house? And they said, oh geez, not that I'm aware of. And
I didn't say, well, Jesus, not that I'm aware of.
That sounds like you might as well have said it that way. Not that I'm aware of.
I haven't
I can tell
seen
you
a
right
dead
now.
body in my house.
You haven't seen one.
I haven't moved a dead body. I haven't interacted with a dead body. I have no reason to believe that there's been a dead body there,
What's
other
all
than
that?
you telling me there's glowing things.
Why is it luminol? And why did you put semen in the crawl space? Because we're going to dig that up too.
That's fine.
Why'd you put semen in the crawl
My
space?
dad's been putting cement down there, and
Your dad's not here.
No, before. And I've been adding to it, trying to get it out of the car.
So with a broken foot, that's the time that you want to pour concrete.
No.
See how this thing is just keeps
Chris brought
unraveling
in the
and unraveling?
concrete, and
We're going to dig out the concrete.
okay,
And we're going to find your dad underneath there.
really?
Yeah. I'm almost positive. Obviously, I'm not God, right? Can't say for sure. I can't say for sure, oh, that dad's in there. But based on my experience, I think your dad's in that basement and he's underneath that concrete. And when we dig it up, it looks like you killed him for everything that I've already told
I
you about.
didn't kill my dad.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. But he died nevertheless. Or he wouldn't be in the dirt underneath the concrete. And there's luminol right next to where things moved from the recliner where it used to be, I imagine, right to that crawl space. And then there's new cement. So I believe you. You didn't kill him. But you did move him and you drug him across that
I don't think I
floor.
could move that. I didn't move him, but I don't even think I
Okay.
could.
You didn't move him. So who did? Chris help you out?
No.
Man, you had to really think about that one hard.
No,
Let me know. See, I'm hitting the nerves now. Now I know what's going on.
What's going on?
You're digging yourself in a hole that you're not going to be able to dig out of, so to speak. So he's moved. We know something died in the basement. It got moved from where the recliner was to where the new cement is. And now they're in the process of digging that cement up from where they just
I'm
told me.
guessing this is where I need to ask for an attorney then.
Okay. I can't talk to you now. If you change your mind about, you can call us and change your mind, but we can't ask you
It
any more
sounds like you're
questions.
accusing me of a lot of things I didn't do. And you're very sure of yourself.
Do you want to still continue to talk and waive your rights again?
I don't know what to do.
I can't make those decisions for you.
Although Dana lawyers up, it wouldn't save her. Because roughly 30 minutes later, officers at the house punched through the concrete and found a hand protruding from the debris, which meant detectives returned to the interrogation room with a new reason to be here.
We found a body in your house. At this time, you're under arrest for concealing a dead body. You need to stand up. You need to stand up. You're going to go with this officer.
So what I'm going to do is, what kind of medical condition do you have with your foot, ma'am?
It's broken.
It's broken? Okay. So what I'm going to need you to do is, we'll go back there and I'll just have you, can you remove the boot and put it back on? Yeah. Okay. Your items here, we'll go ahead and just remove them for now. You're okay. Okay, that'd be perfect. And what is your first name?
Dana.
Dana. I'm just going to walk you to the back. I don't have a key for the...
I'll walk you through.
Okay. So... No, I don't have a cuff key.
Oh, I'll get you one.
These are new. Okay. So why don't you just go ahead and turn around. Just put your hands behind your back. Do you need your hands in front of you for stability? With the boot?
I sometimes hold.
All right, let me just put your hands in front of you. It's a short walk. It's not a big deal. I'll leave them loose on here for you. Can you put your other hand forward? There we go. Okay. Okay. So why don't we walk this way? Just be careful, man. You know, come on.
Will's body wouldn't be fully recovered until the next day, as investigators realized he had been dead for approximately 1 month. The autopsy also confirmed asapromazine poisoning, a dose so massive it could have tranquilized multiple horses. Dana was charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. At trial, her defense argued that she had purchased the asapromazine to help her father sleep, that she had given him a low therapeutic dose, and that he died of an accidental overdose, after which she panicked and hid the body. The jury didn't buy it. On July 15, 2019, they found her guilty on both counts. In September 2019, she was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole for the murder, plus 6 consecutive years for tampering with her father's body. Our thoughts are with Will and those who knew and loved him. We hope you enjoyed today's video. 85% of our viewers aren't subscribed, so if this is the kind of content you come back for, just hit subscribe. It's the single biggest thing you can do to support the channel. If you want to keep watching more, check out one of the most intense cases we've ever covered right here, or catch up on our latest upload right here.